But if you care about being satisfied, we've told this story a bit, and those who've been hanging around might be a little ready for a new story, but it speaks so much to what we're talking about alignment is alignment, and what follows next always feels good. So Esther is tuned in, tapped in, turned on. She's feeling great. She's meditated for a while, and now she's come out of meditation this one morning, and she has a very powerful thought, very clear thought. Why don't you play around with this music system and see if you can figure it out? Because she didn't understand it. So she sat down and just started pushing buttons, and it started doing things in response to the different buttons that she was pushing. And because she was in alignment, and because we knew what buttons to push, she pushed good buttons. And all of a sudden, she's got music in her house in places that she's never heard it before. Because the house is wired. There are speakers everywhere in the gardens and the courtyards. In other words, it's a really wonderfully devised system that she did not understand. And now she discovers not only does she have volume everywhere, but she has choices. So she played a little of this and a little of this and a little of this, and was just having the best time. And then she discovered a station that was completely devoted to rap. As she listened, she liked the rhythm of it. She thought it was impressive, and she liked the message of it, most of it. So she just kept playing it and turning it up, and then she left it on, and she kind of walked around the house, and she listened to different rappers, and she learned some of them were more frequent. She listened for quite a long time, and then that was that. She went on with other things. And so the next day she meditated again. And the thing about meditation is that when your mind is really quiet, that means you have stopped the momentum of your own mind. And when a thought comes, that means it didn't come out of the momentum of your own mind. Can you hear that? So if you've managed to stop the momentum of your own mind, and then a thought comes, you have pretty good confidence that it came from your source. No matter what the thought is, has to be. If you're tuned in to the frequency of source and you receive a thought, it's source. And the thought was, it was so profound. Prepare yourself. The thought was, I really want to move all the furniture around in my living room. Now, because Esther knows about receiving, she didn't question it, although she did think, I should probably work on world peace or something like that, rather than just moving furniture around. So immediately that led to how to go about it, because she couldn't move it around herself. So she looked on the internet. We talked to you about that earlier, and found someone. And then 2 men in a truck showed up, and they're having a nice time. They're impressed with Esther's beautiful place. They want to know about her a little bit. They're talking about living in the area. And Esther said, isn't it nice that we're all here? And one of them said, I'm leaving. And Esther said, where? He said, Alabama. Esther said, why? He said, because I'm a rapper, and I've got some business already going there, and it just seems it'd be easier for me there than here. So Esther said, hold on a minute. So she went and pushed some buttons. Suddenly, really good rap, loud, all through the place. And his eyes are very big. He can't believe this has happened. Esther doesn't look the part. And she's really enjoying this, because now she gets it. She's witnessing what this has all been about. The whole music thing and the whole furniture moving thing. Now it's occurring to her. Now she gets it. Now she knows it. She's in on it now. She's in on it now, and her eyes are twinkling and her body's moving, and she's just beside herself, because she can feel the magic of universal forces all working together towards something that hasn't completely manifested yet, but she knows it's good, whatever it is, because anything that feels this good has to be good. Yes? So he says, what do you do? And Esther said, I'm a teacher. And he said, what do you teach? And Esther said, rap. And then she said, not so much that. So now he really wants to know about Esther, and Esther really wants him to know about law of attraction. She really wants him to know because he's about to go someplace else because what he's doing isn't working for him, and she can feel the power of his desire. And she liked him so much. In other words, she could feel his inner being and all the inner beings that are around his inner being and her inner being and all the inner beings that are around her inner being. Everybody in on this rendezvous. Do you know the power of the universe to get these two people together? The odds of getting these two people together, in other words, the odds of this happening, if you're looking at it in terms of mathematics, the odds are unspeakable. And yet in terms of law of attraction, it was 100% sure thing to do, just like you meeting your mate. And so Esther got some books and signed some books and pointed at some books. And as he's going out the gate, he's saying, what should I read first? And Esther said this, and listen to this. And as he went away, Esther's heart was happier than it maybe has ever been in her entire life. To get to experience the unfolding of something, because she is a teacher to the very core of her being. And here is someone so full of life and wanting something, wanting the keys that Esther holds the keys to. Esther knew what to put in his hands, and the timing of it was so perfect. He's emailing her now, he's texting her, he's letting her know how things are going. In other words, it was also a marriage made in heaven, so to speak. It was non-physical energies knowing the rightness of a rendezvous. And so once you begin to experience that kind of receiving, but what we're asking you to look for is that kind of recognition of what that was all about. Ready to be ready, to be ready, to be ready. And Esther doesn't even know a fraction of that story yet. There's so much more. She thinks she's exhilarated about what's going on with her grandchildren. To be in on something that fresh and new with someone, and to be able to anticipate where it's going, but to not have seen it yet, but then to be able to see it as it unfolds. What's better than that? Than to be tuned into the energy that creates worlds, and to be in a position where you, with the power of your own mind, can focus it in a way that it's meaningful to others. You see why we offer volume when we get excited. Esther translates our enthusiasm for you in volume. So that's why so often she's shouting at you. This is a really good time to be in physical form and to know what you know. You have so much leverage when you connect to this energy. It's not just the leverage and the power and then the results and productivity that comes from it, and when that's all there, but it's the joyful journey along the way. It's the pieces. Every piece of that was fun. The idea was fun. It felt so good. Those first ideas. Ooh, the discovery was fun. Pushing that button was fun because of what it did next. And then trying that, and then trying that. It was fun. And then 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 it was really fun. And it's not done. You see, life is supposed to be satisfying to you. So that's why best sales job we've ever given, to get you to stop trying to please someone else in your life and reach for the satisfaction that confirms your connection to the energy that will really allow you to do wonderful things with them and for them. You see, most people in their struggle and in their effort, you're just sort of eking out a mediocre life. But when you connect to this energy, to this foresight, to this understanding, it's a big deal. Enough? One day, Jerry and Esther were in Texas. And it was raining, and they went to the post office, and they couldn't get into the post office because the flood was so big around it. And Jerry said, that's the Cibolo Creek. It must be out of its banks. So they called their friend Pat, who lived in San Antonio. They were north of San Antonio, north and west. And they said, hey, the Cibolo Creek's out of its banks, and we can't even get into the post office. And their friend said, thanks for letting us know, because the Cibolo Creek runs right through their 1,000-acre ranch. So they went to the pastures where that creek runs, and they got the cattle and the horses and the tractors out. And the creek came, and it flooded its banks, and the pastures were flooded, but none of their equipment and none of their cattle and none of their horses were in jeopardy. And their friend said, it sure is nice to have a friend upstream. And that's what we want you to realize you've got with this connection. You have infinite intelligence on your side, aware of where you are and everything you want, offering continual impressions and impulses and guidance. And when you take the time to care about how you feel, when you've put other feelings in second place and your feelings in first place, and you've massaged yourself into alignment through meditation or appreciation or lists of positive aspects, so that you can feel and hear and interpret the subtleties of that knowledge, then you are unlimited.